What is up, guys? Let's talk about 5 reasons why you should pick up the LG V60 in 2021. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the number one reason why anyone should consider the V60 right now is because it's extremely cheap compared to the other smartphones, sort of in its range here, or other phones that I consider value phones. So you can see $389 for not a refurbished one, but for a brand new LG V60. So that is an extremely good price. Also, it's a good price for the amount of specs and stuff you're getting, which we'll get into. But let's just go ahead and compare. So a phone that I consider, a really good deal also is like the OnePlus 7 Pro here, which I use in unison with the V60. And a OnePlus 7 Pro is cheaper, but it's just not as powerful. It lacks some of the stuff that I love about the V60. It doesn't have a quad DAC or headphone jack in general, and also there's no expandable storage as well. So there's a lot of stuff that the V60 has that some of the really good older flagships don't have, and also some phones, like, it's honestly a better deal to get the V60 over even some mid-rangers. Like, let's say a mid-ranger would be one of the most popular ones in USA, would be a Pixel 4a, which is slightly a little bit cheaper, around this $350 price point. I also think a really big mid-ranger right now is the Galaxy A52. 5G as well. I think the V60 has a lot of advantages over this phone. So the V60 has a ton of advantages over a lot of older flagships that you might consider, and a lot of newer mid-range phones as well. So I think the price point is definitely something to pay attention to. Alright, so the next thing would definitely be the performance, or the price to spec ratio here. So we're getting actually a lot with the V60 here. We have a Snapdragon 865 running on top of Android 11 here, Adreno 650, micro SD support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 8 gigs of RAM. So if you watch any of my speed tests, the V60 is extremely fast, as you can see, with just opening applications. And also gaming performance on the V60 is also really great too. So you can see you can play most games at high settings, no problem. And in addition to just being able to game at high settings with the A65, you also do have that dual screen case support, which you can attach it to certain games. There are certain dual screen case games that are compatible, like Asphalt 9 and stuff like that, where it makes the gaming experience much better. I believe Modern Combat is compatible too. So the V60 honestly is one of like the ultimate gaming devices if you're sort of into the heavy multitasking, and you just like that dual screen experience. So I think for a power user, I think this phone is hands down one of the best phones that you can currently pick up still for that, especially at this price point again. Alright, next would be the LG V60 speaker. So I've compared this speaker to a ton of smartphones, and I think the only phone that was able to beat the speaker setup was the Rogue Phone 3. And that phone had 2 front-facing speakers. The speakers on that are amazing, but these speakers are really awesome, guys. They're super loud stereo speakers, some of the best that you can still get, in my opinion. So the great thing about these speakers is they have a ton of bass. The haptic feedback on the V60 is also really strong, so vibrations and stuff like that is very strong on the V60 as well. And these are just some very clear and crispy sounding speakers with a ton of bass in them, like I said, and they're just an awesome experience to listen to. Whether you're playing games or whatever you're doing, watching a movie, the V60 speakers are going to be a very nice to have on this phone. Also, another great thing about the audio experience, if you guys have a pair of headphones, not a lot of people do, but if you're a serious music listener and your headphones still have that headphone jack on them, you plug them up to the V60 here, and you can turn on your hi-fi quad DAC, and then you'll be able to get some very good audio. So this is more for serious, people that are on their a phone that wants serious audio. Not a lot of phones do it now, which is interesting. I think the Rogue phone does it. Sony might do it. But yeah, so if you're serious about audio, plug and play and you'll get some amazing, headphone experience. So just the overall audio experience with the speakers and the quad DAC is definitely something to consider. Alright, so number 4 is going to be your cameras. So the V60 at this price point does have very good cameras on here. So you do have a triple camera setup. It's a 64 megapixel standard, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 0.3 depth sensor along with 8K video at 30 frames per second and a 10 megapixel selfie that can shoot in 4K. As you can see from the photos, it takes some really great photos. I've done a few camera comparisons as well. And for $400, you're definitely getting excellent cameras here. Just overall colors, I think, are very natural, which is something that I like. You get a good amount of detail on here as well. And overall handles overexposure pretty well. Overall, you're getting flagship level image quality on here. The selfie cam is great. I love the selfie cam because of the color. It gets the skin tones really accurate, more than most phones. Like Samsung doesn't do it as good as this device in my opinion, and also the iPhone. But yeah, I just love the selfie cam on here. It's just one of my little things that I noticed. But yeah, so image quality is great. Video quality is great, and keep in mind you're paying $400 and you're getting 8K video, you're getting 4K video up front, you're getting a lot with this phone. So just excellent image quality. I guess where it doesn't perform so well is probably in a lower light situation. It performs okay compared to like some of the other phones, but I think low light is fine on here. It's not all that. Alright guys, here's the video on the V60 here. Try to walk a little bit so you can see stabilization. Sun. Let's go into Birdman. It's 2x. Ultra wide. Back to 1x. You know how the audio sounds here. Alright, so last would be the display and battery life. So I want to go ahead and tie in display and battery life because they both go hand in hand. So LG made a pretty interesting decision with this phone to put a 1080p display on here. It's a POLED HDR10 Plus. The display is fine, it gets plenty bright. It's a massive display at 6.8 inches. We have our water drop notch right here as well, which some of y'all I've heard, are not a fan of. It's not that bad once you get used to it. You can also hide the notch if it's that annoying. In addition to that, you have a 5,000 milliamp battery, so that goes sort of together with this phone. So the idea of taking 1440p off this phone so it doesn't have such a high resolution, because if you remember, a lot of other LG phones had 1440p standard, the V50, V40, whatever. So they took it off, and the battery life has been amazing on this device. 5,000 milliamp battery. You also have wireless charging as well, and you're getting some excellent battery life. So I usually take this phone with me if you're going on a trip or something and you need a phone that just can last you a very long time, or just a backup phone. The battery life is so dependable on the V60, so it's just an amazing experience here. So overall, the V60 is still an excellent device. LG is still, they pledged to push updates out. We will be looking for that next year. So we will be looking for an Android 12 update for the V60. I'm assuming it should come out sometime next year. Will LG push that update out like they pledged? They would continue to update their devices, their latest ones, for 3 years. So let's see if that is true. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's worth getting an LG device? You guys think it's not worth it? What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.